Hey everyone, I'm Nevaeh, and this is Nevaeh's Pets. Today, I'm doing a Q&A. I posted a video recently that asks people to comment questions about me or my pets. That video is deleted by the time you're seeing this, but today I'm answering those questions. I'm reading out the questions and answering them from oldest to newest, so don't get mad if your question's last. That just means you asked a little bit more recently. Anyway, let's get into the video. The first question is from Teleairs9. One of his questions he asked is if I want to become a YouTuber as a job. So when I get older, I want to be an avian and exotic vet so I could help rabbits, hamsters, guinea pigs, parrots, and whatever else comes in. If somehow I get a lot of extra subscribers on YouTube and I could make a little extra money and save a few more animals, I would love to do it on the side. Saving animals' lives is what I want to do, but that doesn't always mean giving animals medication or even putting them through surgery. Sometimes that means getting an animal out of an improper cage or trying to get them a better diet, and that's what I try my best to do on YouTube. That's why I'll try to keep this channel up as long as possible. YouTube is a lot of work though, so it's hard to do while also going to school and staying on top of my work. That's why my answer to Teleairs9's question is, yesn't, I guess. Teleairs9 also asked if this is going to be serious. He asked this because the original date I said I was going to upload this on was Thursday. Thursday is April 1st, so I moved it to Tuesday. So yes, it is going to be serious. He also asked who my favorite pet is. I can't answer that question. It's like asking me who my favorite child is. My answer is yes, I like all of them. Next, Clumsy Critters asked what my favorite color is. You might be able to tell by looking at my channel, but my favorite color is purple. I also like darker shades of blue a lot though. Clumsy Critters also asked if I play any sports. Currently, I don't play sports because of Corona, but before the lockdown, I played a lot of basketball. I will definitely get back to that soon though, even though I missed the whole season because of the lockdown. I'm very excited to get back to that though. So Clumsy Critters, the answer is yes. Grace's Pet Care channel asked what my favorite animal is. This is a really hard question for me because there's so many amazing ones to choose from. My top 3 are hamsters, rabbits, and cats, though. Grace also asked what my dream pet is. I don't really want any other animals at the moment, and I don't really have a dream pet, but I would love to have a Syrian hamster because I haven't had one for a very long time. I won't get another hamster until Pablo passes, though, and hopefully that won't happen for a long time. Right now, my dream pet is a Syrian hamster, though, especially a female because I've never had a female Syrian hamster before. Next, Grace asked if I've ever had a hamster before my current hammy. The answer is yes, I have. Pablo is actually my 6th hamster. I might make a video in the future about how I got into hamsters or maybe my history of hamsters. But my first hamster was Winter, and then I got Calico, and then Gage, and then Fruit Loop, and then Snickers, and then Pablo. So yes, I have had hamsters before my current hamster. Grace also asked me one last question. She asked what my YouTube goal is. I probably won't get much past 100 subscribers, but it would be my dream to get to 500. My more realistic goal is 100 though, and I have very exciting plans for when or if I get there. So my goal is 100 subscribers. False Animals asked me if rabbits or hamsters are my favorite animal. And yes, both of them are my favorite animal. As I said before, rabbits, hamsters, and cats are my favorite animals. So the answer is yes, both of them are my favorite animals. Next, False Animals asked me how old I was when I got my first hamster. This is kind of an embarrassing answer, but I was 6 when I got my first hamster. She was in a tiny cage. Her name was Winter, and she was a head spot Roborowski. I feel terrible about it though. So the answer is I was 6. False Animals also asked me what my favorite hamster species is. This is a very hard question for me because they all have their pros and cons. Roborowskis are adorable little speed demons. Winter Whites are so chonk. Campbell's Russian Dwarfs come in so many different patterns, and Syrians can be given treats more often. I've never owned or even seen a Chinese hamster before, so I don't know much about them. They also all have their cons, though. Roborowskis tend to be more skittish because they're so small. Winter Whites don't usually live as long because they and Campbell's Russian Dwarfs are usually hybrids. Campbell's Russian Dwarfs are also prone to neurological issues, and of course Syrian hamster bites hurt a lot and they're very hard to please because they're so big. And as I said, I've never owned one, but I heard Chinese hamsters can be skittish at times. But even though there's lots of cons, the pros outweigh them a lot. Every species is amazing to own and very rewarding. So, Fall, you asked what my favorite hamster species is, and my answer is yes. Next, Fall asked what my favorite rabbit species is. Rabbits are actually separated into breeds, not species. Different breeds are two varieties of a single species who can interbreed. For example, two different dog breeds are a golden retriever and a husky. These two animals can interbreed because they're from the same species. They're both dogs. Two different species are a tiger and a horse, or a Syrian and Roborowski hamster. They cannot interbreed. So rabbits are separated into breeds, not species. A French Lop can interbreed with a lionhead. A Rex can interbreed with a Flemish giant. That was probably just a typo, but I wanted to explain it just in case anyone didn't know. So now that we got that out of the way, I don't support rabbit breeders. There are already so many rabbits in shelters, and we don't need to add any more to the world. If I had to pick, my favorite rabbit breeds are Netherlands Dwarfs and Lion Lops. They're both just so cute. Before I got my first rabbit lollipop, I was actually going to rescue an adorable white Netherlands dwarf from Craigslist, but we lost contact with that person and decided to go with our local rabbit rescue instead. To be clear, this was not a Craigslist backyard breeder. It was a nice lady who didn't know that rabbits were a 10-year commitment, and she was just making the right decision. Again, I don't support breeders, but if I had to pick, I would say Lion Lops and Netherlands Dwarfs are my favorite rabbit breeds. Falls Animals asked me what my favorite subject in school is next. My favorite subject is ELA because I like writing stories. I prefer free writing because I get to write whatever I want, but writing what the teacher says I have to write is okay too. I like writing on my own time too, but I haven't done much writing lately. I do write a lot of scripts for videos though. That takes up a lot of my time that I would be using to write stories and things like that. So my favorite subject in school is ELA. Falls Animals also asked what my favorite wild animal is. This is one of the questions that I had to think about for a little bit. The harder I think about it, the further I get away from the answer. I will say that manatees are adorable though, so they're one of my top favorites. I also watched Meerkat Manor a few years ago, and anyone who watches it will be obsessed with meerkats until the end of time, so I like them a lot too. So I think my favorite non-domesticated animals right now are manatees and meerkats. Fall's last question is asking if I consider myself creative. Well, I don't think of myself as super creative, no. I'm not going to say I'm not creative at all, though. I'm kind of in the middle, I guess. So I think my answer is kind of. The next person who asked some questions is Tiny Paw Life. The first question they asked is what my favorite dressing with fries is. I don't like eating cats, so I'm going to have to say I don't like eating fries. Okay, that was a joke. I'm not a huge fan of fries, but I like to dip them in ketchup. So I already answered Tiny Paw Life's second question when someone else asked, so the last question Tiny Paw Life asked is if I have any hobbies besides YouTube. I like going on walks and of course anything animal related. I also mentioned earlier that I play basketball, so yes, I do have other hobbies. Piggy Time is the next person who asked a question. They asked what my dream amount of pets is. I think this question depends on my living situation, how much money I have to take care of them, if by this time I have kids, and so many other things. But I think it would be perfect if I could have 2 cats, 1 small dog, a hamster, and foster kittens. Maybe a pair of bunnies, or maybe not. I haven't really decided yet. To be clear, this is way in the future when I move out and most of my current animals pass away. So my dream amount of pets is 4 to 6 personal pets and foster kittens. Happy for Hammies asked the next few questions. Most of these are repeats, so I skipped a lot. The first question that isn't a repeat is how many pets have I owned and what were they? This is going to take a while. When I was first born, my family already had a couple cats. Their names were Annie, Flora, and Cleo. They were almost all full outdoor cats, and 2 disappeared before I was 2, after there were lots of coyote sightings, and 1 kept coming back to our old house when we moved. Flora was one of the ones that went missing while there was coyote sightings. She was my older brother's cat, and when she went missing, we got my older brother, Ozzy, who we still have. Then when I was 4, I got my own first pet, a brown tabby named Ruby. Soon we got a Pomeranian from a breeder before we learned you shouldn't support breeders. Her name is Shiloh, and we still have her. By this time, I was 3. When I was 5, my great-grandma passed away, and long story short, we got her very elderly cat. She was at least 15 and passed away since then. When I was 6, I got my first ever bunny who was kept outside with terrible care. She was named Cotton Candy. When I was 6, I also got my first robo hamster and a 10-gallon tank, with 3 glowfish who should be kept in at least 20-gallon tanks, along with a clown pleco who should also be kept in at least a 20-gallon tank. Their names were Rose, Sunshine, Pumpkin, and Curry. Next, I got my second robo the same year. 2 years later, I got a Syrian hamster named Gage. When we had Gage for almost a year, I got the first rabbit I took good care of. Her name was Lollipop. I got her a friend named Eeyore a few months later. Lollipop got GI stasis and sadly passed away around the same time Gage escaped his cage, and we never found him. By this time, Ruby had been gone for a while, and I got my own cat, Skinny. Later, we got Peaches to be Eeyore's friend. Right after Calico, my second robo, died when he was almost 4. At least he was in a 456 square inch bin cage by then. Soon we got my winter white Fruit Loop. By this time I was 10. This is also the time that I upgraded my fish to a suitable sized tank. When Fruit Loop passed away, I thought I would never get another hamster again, but almost 6 months later I got Pablo. Right before I got Pablo, my little brother was the age to get his first cat. We accidentally got a pair of cats though. Oops. Now we have 4 cats. The second question I was asked for Happy for Hammies is if there was any animals that I dislike. I don't dislike any animals because I believe every animal was made for a reason. I am terrified of millipedes though. My answer is still no though. The last question I was asked is how old I am. I'm 11. So anyway, thank you guys for all these questions. All these channels are amazing and you should go check them out and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Bye.